Hey painting friends, welcome back to the studio. Today we're going to do a very quick and easy painting that anybody can do, but you're going to be thrilled with your results. And what better to paint than a beautiful, bright sunflower. Black background really makes the yellow pop, and I'm going to take you through this step by step so you can complete a beautiful sunflower painting in a very short period of time and be thrilled with the results. And I'll talk about different variations you can do as well. So I hope you join me on this painting tutorial journey. All right, let's get started. Okay, here we go. Let's draw our sunflower. So let's start with this circular shape for our pattern. We are going to draw ourselves. Where's my I'll use this one. Here is a watercolor pencil. These work great for let me put that aside, and then I'm just going to draw in some simple petal shapes. Now I'm kind of facing a weird direction, these may not be as refined as I would prefer and kind of wonky. But such is the case. Now you notice I'm having them overlap. And don't worry, the watercolor pencil will just wash away or add a bit of color with the, I want that to be a little less wide there at the top. Now we can come in later and add some under petals, like petals that are coming from underneath. We don't have to do that now. We could do that later, but I'll just show you how they will come up from underneath or be peeking from underneath. So there we go. So there we have our basic sunflower shape. And it kind of, because I have such big petals, kind of overlap this one. So we could put just leaves there. So let's start with our very center petals. And let's just fill them in. Fill them in. This is the 3/4 inch flat brush and daffodil yellow. And we're just going to create the shapes. Now if we want to give it a little bit of streakiness or interest, let's add a touch of the orange to your, this is pure orange color, and just, especially along the outer edge, if you wanted to deepen it just a touch, you can use cinnamon and go along the edge with the cinnamon. It doesn't have to be a complete line, just break it up there, just to add a touch of color. So I need more daffodil. This is going to take a lot of paint here, so more daffodil yellow. And I need to make sure I get it down right around the edge. And then we'll start on the next one. You can use your chisel edge as you please. Just fill it in. Some you can have just be all daffodil yellow. And the size of the petals does not have to be exactly the same. And sometimes if you're at a better angle than I am, it's easier to see how it's going together. Now just rub on top of that watercolor pencil to kind of get it to blend in. Make it just be like a streak. And the petal, now you notice how you can't see the edge. So that's where I would come, touch in a little bit of the cinnamon or orange, whichever one I want to go to, and just streak some of that color on there. You see how that's just giving it some definition? And if you wanted this one to be underneath that one, you just do the same. You see how that pushed that one to the back? So more of the yellow. Just fill it in. And if you think that one needs to be bigger or longer, just add to it. Just whatever your eye is pleasing to your eye. And keep going. Keep going all the way around until you have added your petals. Add your little touch wherever you feel you need it. And don't worry, we're not going for perfection. We're going for an effect. So don't worry if it's not exactly what you think a sunflower looks like. Just have fun with it. Have a whole lot of fun. So I'm just going to come out, bring that one out. Add a touch of cinnamon to my corner of my brush. You notice it's not very much. And just streak it along there. Now if you want to add more streaks in to the scent, like from the base, some of them do have this pretty little orange shading coming from the base. Mix a little yellow too, so it's not too stark. Just blend it in there to the color. Very simple. Follow the petal shape. You can leave some more plain if you want. Or you can do the one further back with cinnamon rather than the orange. So you can't see any definition lines there, and that's okay. You can come in later to add a touch of highlighting, or you can go along again with the cinnamon color to define that shape if you wish. So we've got the basic petals. I'm going to pull this up so I can look at it. Okay. Some of these are a little wonky. This one needed to be a bit wider to match these ones down here. And that's okay. See, I'm painting with it facing down on a plane, and I can't really see how well it's all going together. So I'm going to need more yellow. So for these back petals, if I want to do them, I could just go in and put green back here, or I could add a petal there. I'm going to add a petal there just because I teased you with that. So just now right there where the apex comes together, we're really going to add some shading so it sits behind this one for sure. And I'm using the cinnamon for that. And you can make the petal a little bit darker. I'm running out of cinnamon on my palette, so I need to pull up some more. And then here's one here coming out. That's not working. I got it too long. Okay, more yellow. More yellow. So this one has a bit peeking out. So here we go. Again, my battery timed out. I had to go change it. So if you're not liking the way the colors are blending in, you can just go back over some of them with a little bit more yellow. But that's fine. It all works good. And then right along these edges, bring in a touch of the brighter yellow. Touch of the brighter yellow. It just gives it brings it up a bit. Now I know we had you shade it, but you'll see how it all just brings in a touch of light. And the same with like right up here at the tip of these. And if you want to switch to a smaller brush, that works too. They're catching the light. Now if you decide you don't like these under petals, you could turn those into leaves or anything you desire. Nothing is written in stone. It does not have to be perfect. And you can see how that just brings it up a little bit there, makes it all seem like the light's bouncing off of it in different areas. So let's do our center. The brown that comes in the set that I often use is coffee bean. I also love burnt umber, but this will work for the center. If you want to deepen it, you can add a touch of black, and I mean just a touch. I just wiped the brush. I did not clean the brush, and I'm just going to put in the color, and then I'll come back later with a scruffy. I really like the way a scruffy brush adds texture, but I'll get the base in here with this color. And to get it as deep as I want it, I'll probably come back with another coat. Now follow the circular shape so it gives the eye the indication that this is round. And we'll let that dry. Now, in the interim, we can go in and you know what? I've seen these done on a black surface, which I really think is dramatic. You could do a dark blue. You could do whatever of those colors you prefer. This is licorice. This is the black. And we'll just paint around some of the petals while we're waiting for that to dry. I'm not going to do leaves on this one. We could do green leaves, but I'm not going to. I'm going to bring in the black and just paint around the petals and have this be a dramatic painting. Now you may wonder, why did I not start with just a black canvas? Do you know, it's really, really hard to get a brightness from your yellow going over a dark surface because yellows are not opaque. They are one of the most transparent colors next to red. And you have a hard time getting the brightness that you're after. Now, if you wanted to do like a long canvas, I think this done on a long, narrow canvas with like 3 sunflowers going up it, where they wouldn't come in. Like I do smaller ones. I do smaller sunflowers where it would encroach just a little bit and you'd have a sunflower here, and a sunflower there, and then have a deep, deep blue or the black background just to make it pop. So you can see how I'm going to need more. Now you're going to encroach on your petals sometimes. It just gives it interest. Don't fuss about that. Just go with the flow and enjoy it. Enjoy, and if you want to leave a touch of the white showing, that just gives it a glow. And you want to go in that corner, just enjoy. Go around the edges. Finish it off. You know, black canvases can be quite a bit more expensive than these plain little white ones. So this makes sense to do this. Another way would be to paint it all black and then undercoat your sunflower with white. You've seen me do that in some painting tutorials. But I'm getting down here out of the camera a bit. Now this is, I think, an 11 by 14 canvas. You can do this on any size canvas. You just draw in the petals. Sorry, I get thinking here. You draw in the petals as you see fit. And there we have it. We have the black filled in all the way around. I'm thinking I would have preferred it without these petals in between, just because I think the single petals would have been beautiful. So now we're going to work on the center of our flower. I have some of the coffee bean out on the surface, and then I'm going to go with some burnt umber. It's a little bit darker, and then I'm going to put a touch of black out so that we could really deepen the color. Now, centers vary on different sunflowers, so you can pick, you could even do a greenish color with bits of yellow in it. I've seen those as well. I'm going to work with a scruffy brush. I have a couple of them here, but we'll go with the one that comes in your set. This is just a different set. This is Professional U Pro set from Donna Dewberry, and this is just another one of her brushes. This just has specialty painting on it, but they all are scruffy brushes. This is a 3/4 inch. So I'm going to, maybe I'll start with the darker center. So I'm going to get the real brown and just a touch of black to deepen it. And if you can see, I'm kind of mixing the two colors, and then I'm going to just pounce it into the center. I think that's a center. I could have drawn a center to make sure I was more centered. But there we go. It's not perfectly black, starkly black, and if I want to lighten it a little, I just add a little bit more of the coffee bean color. It's still a very dark color. Now, you do not wash out the brush. You want to merely wipe the color out of it, because these create muddy color if you use them wet. So I'm just wiping that out as best as I can. You could do this on a paper towel if you wish. So I'm going to go into the burnt umber color, and then I'm just going to take it around. And it doesn't matter if you go over into the yellow slightly, that creates that texture that you want. And you don't have to create complete opacity. You want some of the coffee bean to show through, and that gives you the texture that you're wanting. And you could also do this with a sponge and get some texture look. I just prefer the scruffy brush for this. And when you freshly load it, you want to tap lightly, and then as the paint comes off, you give it a little more pressure. So there we have that. And I want the little pokies to come around the edge so you can see it creating a little bit of like those fluffy edges from a photograph. I'll show you the photograph I was looking at, and you can see what I mean. Okay, I'm going to set my brush aside and show you that photograph. So you see how around the edges it's got these little spiky things, and then you notice how it's the depth of color right around the edge. We can add that in later if we like, once this dries, because if you try to do it now, that dries really quickly because it's just very soft along the edge. And if you wanted to add a touch more, just bring the brush up. I didn't reload it, so just bring it up a touch, and that adds that little spikiness around the edge. So let's see how, we'll let that dry just for a moment. And if you think, you know, you have it too dark, you can wipe out your brush and get a little bit more coffee bean. And you can just tap in more of the coffee bean here and there, just to bring up the color just slightly so that you can really, really see the texture. And sometimes there's a small ring going around. Now you can do that in a bright color like orange, or you could go with a little bit lighter tone color of a brown like in the linen. But I think I would like to add just a touch of the yellow and see. This is totally optional. I just get and I'm just loading one edge and I'm tapping it out. I did not clean my brush. I still had a bunch of that brown in it. And then I'm just gonna lightly bring a circle around from that edge. It's not too bright as to be unrealistic, but you see how that just added that touch right there of an inner circle. Okay, I'm done with my scruffy brush. I'm going to quit dinking around, and I will, you know, I did paint the black around, but I haven't come around here. Now, I would highly advise you to do that. And the finished picture, you will see that will be done. And all you do is you just take the brown around the edge, do the same thing, the same with the yellow, and it's all good. Anyways, this is your sunflower painting. And how you create, this is just a super easy one, not a lot of added details. We can go into a more detailed one later. I just wanted you to have a fast, fun one. You can do easily. You can even do this as a paint party and have fun with your friends and paint you a very simple, easy sunflower. That's beautiful. I really like the drama of the black on the background, and the colors are going to really pop when I varnish this with a gloss varnish. All right, I wish you happy painting.